Welcome to the Heartbeat Podcast, a Hometown Media Stettler production. The show is always live on YouTube and Facebook as well. We'll have it uploaded to Spotify as well. I'm Alex Mykyta. That's Landin Chambers across the table from me as always. And coming up on the show, we'll be talking about the EML Canada Tour, young women in trades, the county budget, and we'll have a couple of local firefighters on the show. Landon, let's begin with the EML Canada Tour. Landon, you joined those involved.
Yeah, I had a chance to tag along for a tour of local businesses to chat about emergency preparedness a couple weeks ago. It was put on by Shrima, the Board of Trade, and EML Canada. Just stopped by a number of businesses in the East End Industrial Zone just to recruit businesses who'd be willing to lend a hand if a local emergency were to strike. Oftentimes in evacuations, outside help's brought in. That can be detrimental to the community in the long run. So the idea was to assemble a list ahead of time, local resources if the worst were to happen. So really enjoyed tagging along. Every single person we talked to was interested. They'd just never been asked for help before. So heavy industry may be the first that comes to mind, resources like heavy equipment, water tankers, but you really do need all types of businesses in a disaster, like caterers to feed people, clothing suppliers, hotel associations for accommodations, therapists for mental health. So yeah, if you'd like more information as a business owner, they are doing a breakfast session tomorrow. Just information on the platform. That's going to be at the Ramada from 8:30 to 10:30.
And what emergencies specifically were they talking about?
Well, you'd have your major ones like power outages, floods, fires, but even one that was brought up, something locally we might see, is if you had something like a gas spill near a field of cows or something, you would want to have those resources in place to try to, who do we need to call for the cattle? Who do we need to call for H2S cleanup and all that kind of thing? So,
well, probably best to be prepared instead of not prepared in a situation like that. So good that they were going around and having those conversations, eh?
Yeah, I like to say failing to plan is planning to fail, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right. So you said tomorrow they're having another event?
Yeah, it's going to be that breakfast session at the Ramada from 8:30 to 10:30 if you'd like to learn more about the EML Canada platform.
And for those that aren't watching it live, that would be on May 27th.
Yes.
All right. Well, the hope is always that nothing serious happens, but there's always a chance and best to be prepared. So coming up in a few moments, we'll be chatting with Tony and Steve, a couple of local firefighters who always have to be prepared for an emergency. All right, I've got Tony and Steve here from Heartland Regional Fire Department in the county of Stettler. If you wouldn't mind, guys, just introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your career as a firefighter. Go ahead. Tony first.
Sure. My name is Tony Cianfarani. I've been with Stettler Fire and now Regional Fire since 2022. I started as a firefighter in 2018 with Red Deer County in the Delburn station.
Okay. And Steve?
Yeah, Steve Maruk. I started in the town of Stettler Fire Department back in 2016 and transitioned over last year with the Heartland Station 1. I guess 10 years firefighting.
Yeah. Well, good on you guys. And you are, Steve, the captain?
Yes, yeah. Captain there now.
What's that like?
It's good. You're managing a crew of people underneath you there, and everybody's kind of got a job to do, and you're the leader that would report back to the chief and the regional manager and kind of span of control, so to speak, to keep things organized in chaotic situations.
And how many firefighters are there with the county currently?
Currently, I think all 4 stations we're looking at about 64. We've got 8 recruits right now that we're just waiting to get into the call rotation. So
Yeah.
we've got over 70 guys out there now.
Nice. Well, things have been, revolving and changing a lot recently with the separation between the town and the county fire departments. In your perspective, has the way you go day to day with your roles, has that changed very much going to just a county specific fire department?
I would say, yeah, for sure. The call volume, it's about the same. Like, historically the calls are 75-80% heavy in the county, so it's a dry year. We've been on several wildland fires and whatnot. Getting the new station up and running was a big undertaking, so a lot of man hours of free time going in there, and the county takes good care of us there when we're down there working, so we don't mind doing it.
And so just if you would speak on what kind of calls you guys do go to. Is it mainly fires? Is there some lake calls, accidents? What do you guys mainly see?
Sure, I'll give Tony a shot this one.
Yeah, Tony, go for
So
it.
we compiled the statistics on that. 50% of the calls are either wildland fires or motor vehicle collisions. And then the other 50% will have your structure fires, medical assists. The lake rescues and the rope rescues are more rare, for sure. But there are special cases like that as well.
Yeah, you guys just have to be ready for anything and everything, right?
You bet. It's about 25% motor vehicle collisions and 25% wildland fires.
Yeah. So, and that's all very specific to the county of Stettler. So if anything, like how does dispatch work these days? Like if someone calls 911 for, an emergency, how does it get dispatched between you guys or the town? I'm just curious what the process is like.
Basically, the address auto-populates for the dispatch. So
Yeah.
once they get a location, it just tells them right away which fire department is responding. And even more specifically, which hall will respond within Heartland, whether it's in Big Valley, Bymore, Donalda, or the Stettler region.
And when the separation first happened, were there any hiccups involved with that kind of thing?
Nothing serious.
No, well, that's good.
Obviously, there were a few things, and the calls that are right on the borders sometimes get a little blurry, but nothing that was significant.
Fair enough. Yeah, I was just curious with the logistics of all of that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say anything that would put anybody in harm's way.
Yeah.
You might get on the radio and you've been 10 years of saying Stettler Fire on the radio, and now you got to say Heartland.
Yeah.
You've got to think before you push the button now.
Definitely. Yeah. You got a new station.
Yeah.
Just out east there. Anything you'd like to talk about as far as the station's concerned? Any new equipment or anything like that?
It's a big building, so it's kind of nice. We can train right in the back bays there. We got some in the winter months when it's cold out. We've got our training props inside there. We do have access now to water supplies, so we can flow water in the summer and train out back and everything we used to do, and it's pretty good. It's just got a new home and we're making it ours. It's good work in progress.
So let's move forward to your upcoming stair climb in Calgary. When's that taking place?
June 14th. Yeah, it's creeping up fast.
Yeah. Do you guys have to do a lot of training, or you're already in good enough shape?
Well,
you're never in good enough shape.
I turned 50 here in January, so it takes me a lot more work to stay in shape. And we've been, thankfully, the G3 out at Erskine, they've been letting us come out there twice a week.
Oh, okay.
So we've been climbing that 6 times up and down with all our gear on.
Yeah.
It's equivalent to about 68 stories. So, and now that it's warm out, it's a challenge.
So what is the building in Calgary that you climb?
Brookfield Place.
And that's just right downtown?
Right downtown.
Yeah.
You bet. I think it's the tallest building in Calgary. It's 57 stories.
Yeah. So at least you get to take the elevator down, right?
You get to take the elevator down for sure.
Yeah.
So you've done a stair climb like this before?
Yeah.
Both of you have?
Yes.
And you've done it many times.
Yeah,
Steve.
I've done a few. This will be my 8th time in Calgary.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did in 2018 a 9/11 memorial stair climb at Indianapolis. So it was 110 stories.
That's a good one.
Legs, yeah.
Yeah. And how many times, Tony,
This will
have you
be
done
my 4th time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's a fundraiser.
Yeah.
And which organization did you choose for this one?
The stair climb always supports Wellspring.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Wellspring every year.
Okay. For whatever reason, I thought specific firefighters had specific organizations
everything
to
goes
choose from.
everything goes to Wellspring, which is
Yeah.
an organization that supports people and families with cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how does the organization itself provide? Like, what kind of things do they do for?
So they provide resources. They also provide support groups. They have in-person meetings in Calgary and Edmonton, and they also have virtual online support groups. So there's different ones for patients, for families that need just support, and they can go and talk with other families who are dealing with their loved one. And
Yeah.
they're a great organization. Yeah.
And this one, you have a personal connection
I
with,
do,
too, because
yeah.
you do have a cancer journey that you went through.
Yeah, for sure. So I was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer in 2023, and then had surgery and went through chemotherapy in 2024. So I missed the stair climb that year. So it means a lot more now to support that organization for sure, for me and for all the brothers and sisters for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how much harder would you say it is to go up the stairs with the uniform on, with the firefighter's outfit on?
It's tough. It's
I've never put one on. So do you know, in pounds, what are we talking? Like how many pounds are you wearing?
Usually they've changed it so they've kind of modified this stair climb over the last few years, because there's been some links, I guess, and some studies done that some of the waterproofing materials and the chemicals found in the actual structure gear that we wear is linked back to cancer. So they want to try and limit exposure to that and down to emergency scenarios. So they've modified the turnout. You wear your SCBA, a helmet, and you can wear your station wear instead of the heavy bunker gear or coveralls and your boots and stuff like that. But when we're in full turnout gear, I step on the scale at about extra 73 pounds. Right. And then it doesn't breathe. It keeps the heat out, and it also keeps the heat in. So it's a real mind game, because you're sucking hot air when you're going up those stairs behind 700 other people. It's a tough game.
Now, do you get to carry 2 or 3 water bottles, any snacks, or
is
it just you and yourself in your uniform? Yeah.
They do have volunteers along the way as you go up the stairs, and they'll hand you a water if you want one.
Yeah. So you guys going to have any personal competition to see who can do it the fastest?
It's always a competition.
Do you have a personal record for either of you? Do you remember?
Oh, I remember. My best was 17 minutes and 24 seconds, and my nemesis, Josiah Jackson, beat me by 1 second.
Yeah.
He's 20 years younger than me.
Yeah. And that's my brother-in-law. So way to go, Josiah.
Yeah, 1 second, Josiah.
I wonder if that was the year I went down to check out the stair climb, because me and my wife went down when he was doing the stair climb, just to cheer him on and everything like that. Because give those guys, you guys, a lot of props. It's a good organization to support as well. Just it's a very hard thing to do as well. Mind over matter. I bet in a lot of senses. Is there a point going up that you have to switch over to mind over matter? Just I gotta just get through it and get to the top. Is it halfway or 3/4, or is it even lower?
27, floor 27.
Out of how many again?
57.
Right, so about halfway.
About halfway.
Yeah.
That's when it starts to burn and you're gassing, and the
takes
mental load is that you still have halfway.
Yeah.
And you're ready to quit, but you don't. And
it's tough. You talk to some of the guys there, I think Calgary's fastest guy is running up there in 11 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the guy's a machine.
Running the entire way.
Just going.
Yeah.
and you get up there, and every second matters, obviously.
Yeah.
And you think back when you get up there and you're laying on the floor trying to cool off, and where you could have shaved more time off for next year. And it's just a mental game.
Is it step by step, or like do you skip a step or skip a couple of steps, or?
Yeah, it gets step at a time.
Yeah.
Towards the end.
Towards the end.
Towards
yeah.
the end. Usually start double stepping and then.
Yeah, go as fast as you can at first, and then it's just keeping
Pretty
it
much.
stable. Yeah,
Yeah.
just like consistent pace.
Just can't stop. Just keep going.
Yeah. Well, good for you guys. And how can the community support this endeavor that you guys got going on here? You said there's a 50-50, right?
Yeah, we're hosting a 50-50 this year. So we got tickets for sale. Today, actually, we'll be at the farmers market at the Ag Center.
Okay, yeah.
Or you can reach out through our Facebook page to the skeleton crew, we call ourselves, because usually there's only a few of us going.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we've got our Facebook page there. We take e-transfers and whatnot. There's 3 chances to win really off one ticket, so we'll draw 3 times, in the maximum 5,000, 3,000, and 2,000.
Right on.
Those would be the 3 draws. So
Yeah.
it'd be good to give some money away to somebody.
And it's
Definitely.
only 1,000 tickets are sold, so
Okay.
it's pretty good odds.
Yeah, definitely. Well, good luck selling a bunch of those at the farmers market today.
I hope so.
And yeah, thanks guys for coming in. Anything else you'd like to mention as far as Heartland Fire and everything like that before you?
We will be recruiting fairly soon, so if you're interested in joining the fire department, definitely check us out.
For sure. All right.
on.
Thanks guys. Have
Thank
a good
you.
day.
Thanks a lot.
And we'll be right back. All right. So, yeah, it was great having Steve and Tony here, as great to get their perspective on everything with the county fire department, as well as their stair climb. Landon, how far do you think you could get?
Oh, if they're doing, 57 floors?
12?
Probably. Yeah, maybe 12.
I think I'd get to 26. I'd get halfway there, maybe.
You go to the gym, though, so
Yeah.
you're in half decent shape.
I'm not a firefighter, though. Not that kind of shape. You know what I mean? Like, they're in really good shape.
No, they are.
And to go up that many flights of stairs in that amount of time, 17 minutes even, like, that's impressive.
Oh, the fact they're all competing with each other, too,
Yeah.
for the best time.
I was telling you before the podcast that I went up a set of stairs that leads to the University of Alberta, and it's a pretty decent, like, climb, but not nearly that many stairs as the tower in Calgary, and I was completely out of breath. I was like, I'm going to need a minute.
I like that comment that they're training at G3 there
Yeah.
out at Erskine.
Yeah, I
Just
never even would have thought of that, but it makes sense, right?
one of the tallest structures around.
Yeah.
So.
exactly. Can't go up Mount Stettler 400 times. I mean, I could.
Yeah, probably not
Could
the same
work.
experience.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, yeah, it was awesome having those guys in today for the podcast. As people are aware of, we have been covering the P&H elevator news, another relatively tall structure in the area. There are two societies now, but we won't get into the politics today. Both societies had fundraisers over the weekend. Landin visited the elevator on Saturday for their pancake breakfast. How was breakfast? How was your visit?
It was delicious. There was a lot of food there, but I loved the fixins on top of it. They had the real strawberries, the real blueberries, so
They went all out.
other pancake breakfasts.
Yeah.
Take note.
Yeah. I'm just a syrup and butter guy, you know?
Oh, you got to put the fruit on there.
You know, I like fruit, but it can be on the side.
No, but like you said, for all the talk of policies, bylaws, mission statements over the past couple of years, we did need to see the structure up close ourselves. Just as someone who comes from a family of construction and contractors, great to see the craftsmanship of the place. I feel we don't build things like that anymore, and it is worth preserving. So if you've never been, I do recommend going out and checking everything they've compiled there. A lot of people may not realize that you can visit during train days and on the weekend when people are there. So
Yeah, because it's set up like a museum, right? You can go. There's displays and there's different pieces of history on the walls that you can check out and everything like that. So there's a lot of different things you can look at. It's not just a grain elevator that you walk in. There's nothing to look at or nothing to do.
no, it goes over the history of how grain was shipped in our area through horseback or through using the winches to tilt the trucks in later years and that kind of thing. So, and you see it up close, how all the grain was sorted into the different bins and that. So, like I said, we've spent a few years talking about the board issues, the development of two societies. That is newsworthy, but it does take away from the project itself. And that needs some work, coming on 7 years since the 2019 hailstorm.
Right.
So, like our museum, just a very cool place to see how life used to be lived by those who came before us, often in much harsher conditions. So, something I try to keep in mind when we're going through hard times is we only have to look to the past to see we have it pretty good.
Yeah, and it wasn't even that far, removed from where we are now. Like, what are you talking, 80, 100 years? And life was way different.
And in the grand scheme of things, that's really not a lot of time, but we've gone from horse and buggy to AI. So,
Yeah. Where will we be in another 100 years?
well, probably robots.
Probably.
Sitting here hosting the heartbeat.
Yeah, we'll be out of a job.
Or-
I'll lay myself off for the robot to take over.
I'm done.
So, yeah, if you have some time this summer, definitely go check out the grain elevator and everything that it has to offer and learn a thing or two about our town and our area's history. It's time now for the Town and County Council update with Landin. We're talking county budget, young women in trades, and some news on the Buy More School.
Yeah, so the County Council, they just passed their 2026 tax rate bylaw May 13th. That's approving a $23.6 million budget. Bylaw includes 2% municipal tax increase for residential and non-residential properties, but the big one this year was an 8% increase for farmland assessments there. The increases are expected to generate about $51,322 for the county's revenue. But the big jumps that they're seeing this year is their housing authority costs have jumped to over $1 million. Taxpayers are also seeing a big jump in education requisitions as well as police funding in the coming years. But the deadline to pay those 2026 property taxes for county residents is Friday, October 30th without penalty.
And Young Women in Trades, another event of sorts that you went and visited and did a local news story on.
Yeah, that was another tour we were invited on recently. That was the, as you said, the Young Women in Trades workshop that was held by Stettler County and Careers the Next Generation. It's the second year that they've invited local high school students into the shop environment. Just kind of take a first-hand look at some local career options that the ladies may not have considered. Chatting with the Clearview trustees and county councilors who tagged along, we all agreed it was good to see the junction between education and real-life experience. Schools need to be teaching kids skills for today's world, and oftentimes that's technology related, but I do think we lose those tactile skills that we still need in pursuit of that. Every job won't be AI. It's perhaps AI assisted, but in the short term, we're going to need plumbers, electricians, HVAC technicians, etc.
Yeah.
Right? So
those are the jobs right now that can't be done by artificial intelligence.
probably the only ones that are going to pay your student loans too by having jobs.
Yeah. So, and AI specifically is like taking a direct beeline toward your white collar jobs, right?
Some of the high paying ones.
Your data entries, your office work and stuff like that. And we're already seeing, like, in the cities, the vacancy rates of office buildings are becoming higher because those jobs can be outsourced by AI. So that's my tangent. Leading back to where we were locally, it's great to see that these young people are trying different avenues, different industries, and different trades, because those jobs will likely be around for a while.
Oh, things are still going to break. You're still going to need to fix a toilet.
That's right.
2046.
Yeah. And again, until I can replace myself with that robot to do the show, someone's going to have to plumb, and someone's going to have to fix combines, and so on and so forth.
And that's what I did like about the tour, was just seeing, and I mean, you see kids on field trips sometimes. They're just there to take part, but these ladies actually had to do a lot of assignment and prep work to go on the tour and show they were committed to going. So props to them for putting in the work, and then seeing them on site actually take interest in whether that be changing tires, operating heavy equipment, the graders, the snow plows. So like I said, if that's not what we're doing with education, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So
for sure, setting up the kids for a future. Yeah, exactly. And also, those kind of jobs generally pay pretty well too.
Oh, like I said, if you want to pay, I spent 13 years paying student loans.
Right.
With the rate that we got paid in media.
I was going to say, it probably would have been less if you weren't a radio announcer.
Yeah, probably could have paid it off quicker.
Yeah, exactly. But no, that's awesome. And as far as the conversation is right now in the county with the Bymore School, like, where is that taking us?
Yeah, so obviously Bymore is in the county of Stettler, but this news is coming out of the Clearview School Division. They're holding a public meeting next Wednesday. That's going to be regarding the future of grades 7 to 9 at the Bymore School. The division put out a statement last week just saying that projected enrollment for next year is less than 35 students at the school, and that's expected to result in a funding shortfall.
So that's the benchmark.
Basically, just over $250,000 they stand to lose. And this was actually an issue discussed during the Stettler-Clearview trustee debate last year, as that 35-student threshold is vital funding for the smaller schools. But it's been a slow-moving issue for some time as well. When I first moved to Stettler in 2013, Clearview Board was looking at enrollment numbers for some of the eastern schools like Brownfield and comparing the costs of busing to those areas. But, these schools are also the lifeblood of these hamlets. So shutting them down or reducing programming does create hardships for families who have to travel further for schooling.
Yeah.
Bymore is 45 minutes away from Stettler on a good day, so there's an hour and a half commute to get there and back. And even if families would choose to go to Castor, that's still 40 minutes away. So Clearview has stated that no financial decisions yet been made, but interested parents should attend the Bymore School June 3rd at 7 p.m. to learn more.
Definitely. Sounds like it's really up in the air, though, isn't it? Because I was talking to someone who has a current summer position, since they are with the Bymore School, but since, school's out or almost out, they have a summer position. And I was just asking them, like, so are you just going to be here for the summer, or like, what's your plan? And she's like, I don't really know at this point. So I guess everything's really up in the air.
Well, no, and like I said, losing that much funding may not only affect 7 to 9, it may affect the entire school. So and like I said, far enough away, it's going to be a big deal for the families to the south.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, we will continue to follow that news. The weather, warming up, Landon.
Yeah, they put out a heat warning there. It looks like the first one of the year, I believe.
The first one I've seen.
Yeah.
We've had wind warnings, I think. We've had
yeah.
snowfall warnings.
Temperatures expected to reach near 30 degrees over the next couple days, and those overnight lows only dipping down to about 14. So.
Yeah. So the guys that we were talking to earlier, the firefighters, they're ready for what may come with the heat.
It's warm early though.
Yeah, definitely. And you know it's summertime or getting to summertime as the town is doing their street sweeping.
Yeah, they put out a notice this week just saying that they're working with MCOM services on street sweeping along the highways through town. So they're getting started early each day, minimize those disruptions, but do use caution around the equipment and workers, expect minor delays. And then speaking of delays, a number of the road projects we've covered at Town Council in recent weeks are starting up. Your usual route around town may be disrupted for a bit with major road work starting from the high school down to the post office there.
Mm-hmm. So. All right. Well, let's switch from the local level to a little bit more of provincial news, Landon. Since our last podcast, there have been some interesting provincial stories. Our MLA resigned, and there's also an update on the referendum that we will be having in October.
Yeah, so Nate Horner there announced on social media he'll not be running again in the 2027 election, but he is going to stay on as the MLA until that time.
Gotcha.
He did resign from his cabinet duties as finance minister, though. He'd been finance minister since 2023 and did say in that that the UCP finance minister should be someone running on the platform in 2027. And, of course, Jason Nixon has since been appointed finance minister.
Right.
So. But yeah, speaking of the UCP, headlines across the country over the past few days regarding the Alberta October referendum, or the referendum about a referendum.
About a referendum.
Seems a
Keep
lot
going.
of people.
About a referendum.
Seems a lot of people aren't happy on both sides of the aisle with the latest news regarding separatism. Smith will add a question to the October 19th referendum asking, should Alberta remain a province of Canada, or should the government of Alberta commence the legal process required under the Canadian Constitution to hold a binding provincial referendum on whether or not Alberta should separate from Canada?
Do you really need that second part? So read the first part again.
Should Alberta remain a province of Canada?
Stop. Do you really need the rest of it?
Well, that is more direction to the province.
I guess. It just seems like that's the question you're asking.
It's the equivalent of Brexit, right? You're asking me, do we start kicking this can down the hill that we're not going to be able to push back up?
But if the majority of people say no to that first part, that's all you need, in my opinion, is that first part, then it's only natural that you have to do the next steps.
Yeah.
Right? Then it'll be a formality, the rest of it.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
But anyway, that's what the question will be. Whether you say yes or no, that's what you'll be putting a check mark next to in October.
No, and this on top of the other questions will be asked that we covered in a previous Heartbeat, such as provincial control over immigration, judicial appointments, abolishing the Senate.
Yeah.
Something I've been thinking about, to my knowledge, we can only hold one provincial referendum a year. So we have this one in 2026, but 2027 is an election year. So if we were to vote yes on separating, would we not even be asked till 2028? Are they hoping the sentiment dies off by then? It may not. From what we're seeing from the courts, they could strike down the actual referendum on failure to consult with the treaties, which is partly why I think the question is worded that way.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I saw Smith herself ask, how can the citizens petition was supposed to satisfy the court on a duty to consult First Nations? There were town halls across the province. We covered one. So, like I've been saying for a while, I think if people felt properly represented in Ottawa, they wouldn't be signing petitions to form their own nation. When I was a kid watching the Reform Party, it was almost treasonous to suggest leaving. We were proud to be part of this nation, even when we had our differences. We believed in differences of opinion, finding solutions across the other side of the aisle, but I don't see a lot of pride anymore. People see our federal government as the antithesis of our values here in Alberta.
Mm-hmm.
Hard work versus handouts, faith in community versus government. It's two different worlds, and if we don't find common ground, well, the U.S. may acquire more states. There's geopolitics at play here. Culturally, many here find more in common with someone from Montana than Ottawa. And that's always worried me, that if we start pulling those strings, what that's going to unravel, especially if people are angry, tired, and unrepresented. There's real grievances the West needs to address, and I would like to see a constitutional accord struck between the provinces and the feds to address those issues. They haven't been tried since Mulrooney in the 90s, and the last two failed. We couldn't get all the premiers and prime minister to come to terms. So we have the Western premiers in Kananaskis this weekend for meetings. These are the places to have these discussions. Alberta has 6 Senate seats with 5 million people. Nova Scotia has 10 with 1 million.
Right.
Quebec has 24 with 9.1 million people. So should Alberta have 12? These are grievances we can point to and try to negotiate, but I'm worrying with how I'm already seeing the Eastern media react. We're going to be told to sit down and accept what we're told, and that'll be that, and I don't see that going over well.
Nope, probably won't. Definitely won't. Well, we'll have to see where this goes. Now, since the petition, all of the names were counted and there was the whole, the whole fact that it was shut down by the courts, does that get reversed or what's the deal with that?
That's where I see this half measure of the referendum about a referendum question, because by not directly putting the referendum question on, we shouldn't see the question struck down, but it's still giving the UCP the ability to say that we are listening to the will of the people from the law they wrote a few years ago that initiated citizen petitions. So it's, at the end of the day, 700,000 people signed a petition, whether it's the 300,000 that signed to separate or the 400,000 that signed to stay. At the end of the day, I can see that the province is just trying to let the people have their say. But what that answer is going to be and where we go from there is going to be very interesting, because, like I said, you start pulling on these threads, and we only have to look at all the investment that fled Quebec in the 90s. Calgary's mayor, Jeremy Farkas, said yesterday, there's a reason the Bank of Montreal's headquarters is not in Montreal. And it's that uncertainty.
Right. Yeah.
So.
You wonder about that. Like, what would the snowball effect be if Alberta actually did leave the country?
We would have... There are arguments that we would save a lot of money on the money that we save a lot of money on what we send to Ottawa through equalization. But at the same time, to establish our own nation, we would have to set up embassies, a military, a tax collection service, immigration service. Are we just going to eat all those costs? So,
would we have Canadian Tire anymore?
No, Alberta Tire.
Alberta Tire.
But
there's so many things. It's just like, I feel like there would be just such a snowball effect of like everything would change. There's, from the ground floor up, it's just piece by piece, everything would change.
And I don't want to say it's impossible, because I very much don't think it is. Separation arguments are about being recognized by outside forces, and if the Americans were to recognize Alberta, that completely changes the equation for Ottawa.
Right.
Especially when the U.S. is 10 times our size as Canada. So,
being a landlocked province or country with a lot of, economical benefits with oil and natural gas and lumber and all sorts of things, I feel like, would we be able to defend ourselves from maybe outside forces that might want those things?
Depends if Canada would recognize those as Alberta resources, because although in the 1930s the courts ruled that the provinces did have rights over resources, that was only under the condition that a province is part of Confederation.
Right.
So I see that as another hiccup down the line too, is that we may not get our resources if we were to separate.
Right. So it boils down to the fact that there are so many factors at play here.
Oh, very, very much. And we've seen this issue coming
And I feel
most
like
of our lives.
sometimes the sentiment is a little bit too much to the fact that we could just leave. Like, you can't just leave. Like, there's so many things. There's pensions. There's so many. Everyone's business is attached to the CRA.
Yeah, there's this. Yep.
Right? There's so many things. So you can't just leave. Like, it would be probably a multi-year process.
Oh, at least that if we were to vote yes in the fall, get a question in 28 on starting the process, I could see it not actually happening until maybe the early 2030s, 2032.
Right.
But like I said, I'm not going to say it's impossible because I think nations have been born with less.
Mm-hmm. Either way, I'm interested to see what the results are in October, just from that one question. Should we stay or should we go?
No, it's going to be interesting. So,
all right. Well, there's a lot on that, and there's a lot more to come, I'm sure. Let's take a quick sidetrack over to some community events, Landon. We do have on our hometown TV screen network advertising on June 2nd. Home Support is having their Better Together from 10 to 2 at the Hub. It's for Seniors Day, so lunch will be provided. They're going to be having an elder abuse presentation, fraud prevention presentation, as well. Constable Wither from the RCMP. Whitner, I believe. Yeah. Whitner from the RCMP will be there. And I will be at the 34th annual Awesome Auction. Me and my wife will be volunteering there. So say hi to us. We'll be at one of the booths on June 6th. It's the 34th annual auction. They will have cocktails, steak and lobster dinner. I wonder if I get any of that. That'd be nice. Live auction and a dance to follow. Margaritaville is the theme this year. If you have an event that you'd like to have included on the podcast, you can contact info@htproductionsmedia.ca. You can always drop by the office, bring us a poster. A couple of final notes before we go, Landon. The Ambulance Association won an award, and spring training for local football is starting.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to the Stettler Ambulance Association for their Rhapsody Award win this year. The team was awarded the honors for stepping up during the local doctor shortage as well as through COVID by RPAP. Had a chance to chat with them yesterday, actually, at the Board of Trade. The town and county declared this week as Alberta Rural Health Week, and there's going to be a community celebration for the Rhapsody Award, and that's in the works for the Ambulance Association in the coming weeks. And then, finally, spring camp practice begins this afternoon for the Wildcats at 4:15. Any students missed registration, they can head down early before practice to register. The spring camp is separate from the regular season, so if you're unavailable for the spring, you can also sign up in the fall. And of course, students can always check out practice too if they're interested in becoming a Wildcat.
Absolutely. And I'm sure we'll be covering the Wildcats 2026 season as that approaches at the end of the summer, but we don't want that to come too quickly, do we?
No, that would mean the end of summer.
That would be. That's it for the Heartbeat for this May 26th. Next episode will be our 10th episode. So, woo. That's right. We'll have champagne and... No, we won't.
Maybe 100.
Yeah, 100, yeah. If we don't have the robot sitting here.
Fair enough.
Make sure to visit hometownmediastettler.ca for more on these stories. And whether it's here on YouTube, Facebook, or Spotify. Thanks for listening and watching the show. And make sure to give us a follow on YouTube and on Facebook and on Spotify, and like the videos because that definitely helps with the algorithm. Put a comment in there too because that also helps it reach more people. I know, they make it difficult, don't they?
Oh, they make us do all the work, don't they?
Exactly. So make sure to do all those things just to help us out, us and our little media outlet here in Stettler. I'm Alex Mykyta, that's Landin Chambers, and that was the 9th episode of the Heartbeat Podcast.